But George, yes, to answer your question, I am ready for some
Ready for
news.
some news? Um,
Please stay ready.
hot off the presses,
Mm. Oh,
Saudi Arabia.
multiple, not just one
Yeah,
press.
multi
Okay,
presses.
hot off the
Saudi
AeroPress.
Saudi Arabia investing in coffee production with Coffee City. Now, I don't know
Hmm.
that they're going to
Get
build
this.
an entire city, but Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Environment, Water, and Agriculture has signed a 15-year agreement with Agriculture Society to promote coffee production and create a model farm. First thing that comes to mind to me, this is going to be Robusta or Robusta. Sorry, I probably didn't say it right.
Robusta.
Robusta.
My
Because
buddy, my homeboy that does the roasting in his house. His neighbor is Ukrainian.
yeah,
You hear him. Oh, Robusta.
that's funny.
It's terrible. He goes
He don't
off
like
about it,
he don't like
and
the.
he really gets into Robusta.
Oh wow, he sounds
Yeah,
violent. Leave
he's
with.
actually a really nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
Oh good.
Straight out the
Um,
Ukraine now. So watch your mouth. He might have you
s-
offed.
so it's probably not going to be. I'm guessing here. I'm not trying to like throw shade on Saudi Arabia or anything, but um, I don't know if Arabica can grow out there because most of the Philippines and everywhere out there that's doing coffee, they're doing Robusta, not Arabica. Arabica's like
Higher
Ethiopia,
altitude. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
higher
the higher altitude being it
South America.
it's it's much more susceptible to like rust and disease and things like that, plant disease, mold, those types of things.
Hmm.
It's harder to grow. It has a little
Yeah,
bit less caffeine also.
I've read that. And then you've probably heard on this show a few times when you plant coffee, especially if you're doing a brand new farm, it's going to take could take up to 3 years to yield product. So they
No, no
said
time for
they're
that.
dedicating 15 years. I don't know if they're clearing the ground right now and getting some seeds in there, but according to what we've reported on in the past, it's gonna take a while to get some coffee out there in Saudi.
Can I make an assumption that they're not going to be growing that coffee outdoors in Saudi Arabia, or is that what they're saying they're going to do? I mean, it's just, Saudi Arabia is rock and desert,
So maybe you're thinking they're gonna do some kind of like hydroponic warehouses.
kind of like what we read about they were doing in Northern California, right, where they're growing that coffee in those greenhouses or whatever.
Uh, Here's what's funny is if I guess I didn't read below the opening.
Read, never
Uh,
that.
the agreement is expected to result in a cultivation of 300,000 Arabica seedlings and
Oh, okay.
pomegranate trees. So they are doing Arabica. Um, it will involve into a model farm, a nursery, and an industrial center, include workshops, warehouses, business centers. That's wild. So it is. It's got to be indoors. It's got to be climate controlled.
Yeah, I would
Probably
assume
bringing in
so.
soil and all that. Man, that's going to be an expensive ass farm. We're going to be paying $50.
A gallon
For, yeah,
for gas.
that's
we got
nuts.
we got to get that. Oh man, I don't get a regular tripod for this camera.
Uh,
Um,
so
well,
wow,
that's
they are
interesting.
going to do.
I will say that's interesting. I mean, probably not
Oh,
going to Saudi
Robusta.
Arabia anytime soon, but
Just a trip.
um,
We're heading out there.
man, I got to grow this beard out more.
You fit right in. Uh,
You might not make it back.
Me? I get along with everybody. I would probably get over there and they'd be like,
I'd be like,
George, oh my God, you're
check his
amazing.
bag. Check his bag.
No. Hey, two things I know not to do over there. No liquor and no dirty stuff.
All right, listen. Don't even be seen talking to a woman if she ain't
Nope.
your lady.
I read
It's
the
game
rules.
over.
I know what's going
They
on.
lock you up.
Next up out here, now there's a local coffee roaster on Water Street. If those who don't know, that's downtown Henderson.
Nobody knows.
They got one of these machines, and they're actively roasting their own stuff in house. I don't think they've dialed it in yet. I did buy a couple bags. I think I told Greg I told you about it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a work in progress. This was like beyond a uh, beyond a what am I trying to say? Beyond a espresso
Reasonable
roast.
doubt.
Yeah, these were some oily, very dark, roasted beans. So I think they're working out the kinks. I don't know, and I asked the guy. He didn't know offhand where he was sourcing the green beans from, but they're definitely. But BellWether launches a roaster accelerator program. For those that don't know, BellWether Coffee makes a roasting device where you don't need ventilation or external power sources or all this stuff going on. You literally dump your green beans into a hopper, dial everything in on an iPad, and you're off to the races. You're roasting coffee.
No, I don't like dialing in on an iPad.
Well, I couldn't take advantage of this deal unless they consider Irish. I actually did some work on this, and from what I saw in America, Irish is not considered a minority, so I think that's terrible.
Also, you're not in
But
the Bay Area.
I'm not in the Bay Area, correct? But
Right?
that doesn't count
Gay
because
area.
if you read this program, the very first recipients of this program, I believe, were in Atlanta. So they're
Oh,
offering this deal
they're
to
hopping.
minority owned businesses, and
Well, I'm on their
it's
website, and I don't see not one black person on this website.
you're gonna make them
I
call a
see some.
designer.
I'm seeing some South American people picking bean. Oh, here we go. Here's a black person. They're processing beans in Africa.
Well, they are now accepting applications in the Bay Area roasters for spring 2022. Coffee
No, hold on, George. I'm
retailers.
not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Okay,
I'm not done yet.
getting them.
Wait, so, if you were looking to help, oh, I guess minorities. I guess if we count Asians as minorities, they looks like there's some Asians that work
I
for the
think we
company.
know
So
which.
I get really concerned when people do this whole thing about like inclusion outreach and this is what we're doing for these communities, and then you look at the company itself and that company is not a reflection of what they say they're doing. Don't do that. That's
I'm
bullshit.
shocked.
That's bullshit. And I'm not saying that BellWether's a bad company. I'm just saying you're setting a shitty precedent for what it is you're allegedly trying to do. Yet there's nobody in your corporate ladder or work structure that is of these people that you're trying to help. Nobody,
Hmm.
your company doesn't even look like what it is you say you're doing. And that actually really bothers me. It pisses me off.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
We're gonna help. We're
it's called PR, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
we're gonna
bullshit.
help y'all, but we're not gonna hire any of y'all.
Yeah. Oh, work for us.
Yeah, so that's funny. Anyway,
Hold on,
coffee retailer.
I'm clicking on our team. Hold on. I found one. I found one. Never mind.
I'm so glad we have
Ra-
video so they know who's talking.
Randall Alston. If you go to bellwethercoffee.com/about, Randall Alston is the VP of Enterprise Sales. All right.
Wow,
I stand corrected. James Hoffman is an advisor.
is he really?
That's what it says. They have like 8 advisors, and I see 2 YouTubers. James Hoffman and Chris Baca. I don't know the other people on here. All right, so now that I
Waka,
stepped all over this article and
Waka
I had
Baka
to
Flame.
eat my words, I feel a little better about this company.
Well, we're here to let you know that if you meet the requirements, coffee retailers everywhere face challenges to make the economics of their business work, from high labor costs to low margins. These challenges are exacerbated for business owners
George, good job.
who hold marginalized identities. I love that. I love that
Did you
one.
see that you see that report from Cal, I think it was Cal Berkeley last week, that Asians aren't considered minorities, they're considered white now?
They throw them in white. I did see that.
Yep.
I did.
Oh boy, this dude made a video where he was like, he was an Asian dude. I think it was a TikTok. Marcus sent it to me.
That's
And he
so
was like
great.
walking down the street. He saw some cops. He was like, hey, he's waving to the cops. I was laughing my ass off. It was pretty funny.
They don't care about him.
Pretty funny.
No,
Dude, they don't give a shit. They're like, oh,
that's
you're
so
white.
crazy.
You're white. You're good,
So
buddy.
if you are a business owner with a marginalized identity, they're here to help. They
Okay.
Bellwether accessibility to roasting is our central vision to create more sustainable future for coffee industry, to expand the vision. They're saying that they're going to give you, I believe, a year, a full Zero.
They
They're going to
say they're
give
going to
you.
give you a year.
We designed a program that provides BellWether Roaster at zero upfront cost and a
Mm.
full year of subsidized monthly roaster rent. I'm assuming the subsidized rent consists of a heavy
It's like
discount.
warehouse space or something.
No, it's a lease deal for that device. So unless you got the coin, I mean, if I had to guess, I couldn't get, and that's actually in my notes for this episode. I went to go click over because there's a button that says "Let's get roasting," because there's another program that gives you 2 months for free, and that website didn't work. I couldn't
Gotcha.
get anything to load on that one. Um, Zero upfront cost, subsidized monthly roaster rent. Participants will also receive all support, guidance, and business tools enjoyed by BellWether customers through our customer success team. Not support, success. So they're accepting
Gotcha.
applications at the moment, which is
Listen,
fantastic.
I'm gonna go ahead and say shout out Bellwether Coffee for this program. Being on their website, it's pretty interesting. It needs a little bit of work, but being on their website, got to do a little bit more of a deep dive about who they are exactly, and what they do. They even have a thing here listing their values. Their values are sharing ideas, creating opportunities for economic empowerment, setting a high standard of quality in everything they do, providing access to resources, especially to those who are consistently denied them, and the equitable treatment of all people everywhere. So that's a powerful set of corporate values.
Is
Shout out to Bellwether. Good luck in getting these coffee roasters into the hands of people that could maybe do something good with them that
yeah,
otherwise could not.
good, good.
Also, shout us out too. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Shout,
Send us a
shout us
roaster.
out, Randall
I don't
Alston.
even need the rent. Can I just get cash instead of the rent? I'll just put this roaster in my garage. We straight, right? I'll just put a chimney going out the top. Boom, done.
Uh, dude, I don't. That was one of the things that you read on there, on the if you look at the about the actual roaster, like
Hmm.
this thing is like self-contained. I know the one that's on Water Street. I mean, I saw the cutout where they put it.
Hmm.
All they had was a plug. Like this
There's
thing,
no
I
heat
think
evacuation anywhere. It does it
doesn't look
like
like it. It looks like it
interesting?
has, like a refrigerator has that intake on the bottom. I think it might
Yeah,
just, I mean,
cool.
maybe the room,
It sends the heat down there and it cools and recirculates. Interesting.
yeah, maybe the room gets crazy hot when they're doing the processes. But yeah, I did read that that they did some stuff here on their program. But you know what? Good. I'm glad they're helping peeps out. Um, you know what? Keep on keeping on. You know what I mean?
Facts. Keep on
Uh,
moving. Don't stop.
Gregor, you got this next one.
George, I just wanted to let you know which cities have the most expensive cup of coffee and which cities have the least expensive cup of coffee. I did not do a deep dive. This particular set of stats was provided by like a couple of different media outlets that picked up on the story just to hit a news cycle, I guess. But I did not track down the study to see what the variables were. Because the first thing in my mind is when you say cheapest cup of coffee and most expensive cup of coffee, what are we talking about? What are we talking like? So, if, for example, Seattle ranks number one with the average price for a cup of coffee being $3.92.
Wow.
That's pretty on par. That's pretty on par with here. If you go to like a roaster, it's going to be around $4 for a pour over, right? But a to go cup's going to be a little bit cheaper. So when we start talking about these cheaper areas, like with the cheapest cup of coffee on average being Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at $1.18, what is the ratio of 7-Elevens, Starbucks, etc., to like what would be, a micro roaster or, a craft coffee shop where those prices are going to be a little higher. Also, I think you have to take into account what the cost of living is in these particular cities. So the interesting thing, I guess, would be Phoenix, Arizona is number three least expensive at $1.25 per cup. How does
Hmm.
that happen in a big city like Phoenix?
I don't know.
it's just weird to me, right? So just I'll give a quick rundown. The most expensive list is there's 10 listed here. It's Seattle, Washington, Olympia, Washington, Kennewick, Washington, Tacoma, Washington, and Bremerton, Washington. That's the top 5 spots. Then it bounces to Albany, New York, then back over to Spokane, Washington, or Spokane, however you say it. Then Shreveport, Louisiana, Eugene, Oregon, and Lafayette, Louisiana. So Louisiana and Washington, the most expensive places to get coffee. I don't know. That is so odd to me. But there you go. There's a nice little infographic for you. If you live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, congrats. Hopefully, it's not just a cup of AM, PM, or
Yeah,
McDonald's coffee,
no
but
doubt.
it probably is.
That's an incredible price in comparison.
I
I mean,
mean, you could
maybe
get 3 cups for the price of one compared to Seattle.
no, yeah,
Now,
no doubt.
to be fair, Seattle, I mean, you know, Seattle used to be obviously the birthplace of Starbucks. Every time you turn the corner, it was Starbucks, right? And then New York became that same type of thing. But now Seattle's every time you turn the corner, it's a totally different independent roaster or small
Right.
chain shop that you never heard of, which is great. But of course, that's going to drive the prices because you're talking about local. They're roasting in shop, they're doing craft brews and these specialty drinks and all that type of stuff, and that's always going to drive the price up. Plus,
I'm cur-
it's expensive to live in Seattle.
I'm curious how many, like in let's say Seattle, I don't know what part of Seattle, but maybe downtown Seattle.
Hmm.
How many different places did they come up with to get that average? And then kind of like what you said, like
Exactly.
the cost of living and all that stuff. I mean, maybe they went to an area of Harrisburg that isn't a densely populated
I don't think
area,
Harrisburg is very populated, anyways, right?
like downtown Harrisburg. I know
Because
Phoenix. Phoenix is big,
Phoenix is big, so
so hmm,
it's definitely not a comparison. You're talking. I mean, like think about what the home prices in Harrisburg, PA, are compared to Seattle, Washington. It's
very different.
yeah. Listen, I just looked it up. The population of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You ready for this?
Yeah.
50,000 people.
You tried charging almost $4 for a cup of coffee, and nobody's drinking coffee in
No,
Harrisburg, PA.
no, it'd be January 6th in the coffee shop.
I am
That
shocked that Phoenix is on this list at number 3 though.
for
For
cheap
very
coffee.
modestly priced coffee. And
Yeah,
they have some good roasters out there, as
they
we've
do. They do.
detailed on this show. I believe 3 or 4 roasters out of AZ. So that's incredible. I noticed Nevada's not listed on any of these. So
Nevada's not listed. We're probably number 11, right after Lafayette, Louisiana, because but there's so many Starbucks here because of the
a
casinos, the
ton,
nightlife. Like you want Starbucks at 3 in the morning, you can find it usually in one of these hotel casinos or whatever. So that's gonna definitely set the average off a little bit.
killing them,
And again,
killing
like we said, when
'em.
we say cup of coffee, are we talking about like 7-Eleven, the self serve, or just they pour you something out of a pot in a cafe or something, or a deli? I don't know. Versus, so and it
I
could,
would.
like I said, could be my fault. I didn't do a deep dive on the study to get all the variables involved.
I think we should have seen. We should have seen a little more of, how they came up with their details on the study in
Yeah,
regards to, was it just independently owned coffee shops? Are we doing an average of all the Starbucks? Because I think a cup of coffee at Starbucks is probably more than $3.92.
yeah, for just a regular cup of coffee, I would think so. All right, so I'm gonna read. I just clicked on the link to see the whole study. I'm gonna read up on this. We'll circle back to this on the next podcast, but I'll come back with more information because I know people are definitely chomping at the bit to learn more about how much the average cup of coffee is in their neighborhood.
Totes, totes.
Um, our next news item, George. Why you drink black coffee? It's in your jeans.
I'm wearing
Um,
jogging pants.
okay, well, it's in your joggers.
Good.
So, out of context, I took up a couple of quotes here. That is interesting because these gene variants are related to faster metabolism of caffeine and are not related to taste, said lead study author Marilyn Cornelis, associate professor of preventative medicine and nutrition. These individuals metabolize caffeine faster, so the stimulating effects wear off faster as well. So they need to drink more. Our interpretation is these people equate caffeine's natural bitterness with a psychostimulation effect. Cornelis said they learned to associate bitterness with caffeine and the boost they feel. We are seeing a learned effect or learned effect.
Huh.
When they think of caffeine, they think of a bitter taste. So they enjoy dark coffee and likewise dark chocolate. Um, so they were saying, I was reading, I didn't copy and paste this in here, but also an article talks about people that drink black coffee versus people that drink coffee with sugar and dairy in it, right? So sugar and dairy are providing two other components. They're providing obviously simple carbohydrates, and they're also providing fat. So you're getting a totally different, set of nutritional value numbers in that cup of coffee. So they were saying that, why does it seem like people that drink black coffee are able to metabolize it so much faster? And it's just because really you're not cutting it with carbs and fats
Yeah.
as well, right? And so that's why you and I've talked about this before. You can drink a cup of coffee 6 p.m., fall asleep just fine.
No
It's just
issue.
because you've just built up this metabolism, to be able
Oh,
to run through that coffee and be done with it.
fastest metabolism. I've got
Some would say the fastest.
Hussein Bolt metabolism going through my body.
Damn. Okay.
So no
I
big deal.
respect that, George.
Um, I want to add to this when I think we started the podcast 3 years ago.
I think so. I can't really
I
remember.
I used to be a coffee creamer guy. You know, I put a little bit of coffee creamer down on the bottom of my cup. I'd fill it up with coffee, and that's how I drank it. And then we started doing the podcast, and I started, learning these tastes and everything, and loved it.
You realize you're muting it. You're paving over
Yeah,
the actual flavor.
yeah, really good
George, I just
flavors.
want to give you. We're almost going on 4 years. February 21st, 2018 was our first episode.
Oh wow,
Yeah, titled "What Would R. Kelly Say."
that's awesome. And look
Oh
how far
wow.
he's come. Look how
Yeah,
far
yeah.
he's come. That's
I
incredible.
look at these titles. Look at these titles. Cougar Catnip, Forever 45, Afro
Yes, you are.
German. God, man, we are funny as hell. I
I know.
swear.
We got to start naming them again. We
Light
got to
skin
start naming
coffee.
these. I know. I think we've done that a couple times.
We might. It's so good. You got to come back to it. Gregor
Uh,
Jefferson. Add he's
so
nuts.
unbelievable. We are
All
good.
right. All right. Sorry, guys. All right. Well, that's it for the news, George.
That's it.